Welcome to the Business Renovator. I'm Coach Phil. Today I'm going to walk you through a couple of concepts over the next few days about the characteristics of success. You may have some of your own, but I'd like to share with you some of the things that have been impactful for myself, as well as those people I've been fortunate enough to work with as coaching clients or salespeople or entrepreneurs. But before I start, let's get on the airwaves. So here I am. Good day, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. One of the things I would like to do is start with Customer Delight 365. This is a book that's written by a friend of mine, Brian Monahan. And every day he's got a different quote. So today's quote that I've selected is, ever since I was a child, I've had this instinctive urge for expansion and growth. To me, the function and duty of a quality human being is the sincere and honest development of one's potential. Bruce Lee. I know one of the other mega minders that I hang out with, Alan Bruce, would be a fan of that particular quote. He might even have it etched in his cranium. Brian's take on this quote, though, is creating a world-class customer experience is an example of as hiring Bruce Lee or people like Bruce Lee. People with an instinctive urge for expansion will always find their way to the high road. Taking the high road in life and in business creates a win-win product, service, or experience. It's much easier to hire employees who have the instinct for growth than to develop it. It's an interesting segue with something I was studying this morning about Apple and how they hire people. They would show them the candidates actually one of the products. And if people came in and said, well, that's kind of an interesting computer, they didn't get hired. If they came in and said, holy cow, look at that thing. That's amazing. How did you get to this point? More likely to get hired. So if you go in after things you want with passion, enthusiasm, and conviction, more likely to get to where you're trying to get to. Anyway, let's move on to what I'd like to talk to. This is a great introduction to it. So characteristics of success. Who is successful? What are the characteristics and where do they come from? So in this series of talks, conversations, live streams this week, I'm going to be talking about the concept of success. In particular, today's concept I'm going to be talking about is the Carnegie Triangle. I don't know if you're familiar with that or not. When I use this, and not only myself, but my peers, when we use this as an explanation, as an example, it's an interesting exercise. In a live event where we have people interacting with us, we would have a flip chart and get them to make a list of all the traits of the people that they deem as being successful in their lives. So think about somebody in your profession. If you're a realtor or a business owner, maybe you're a sales executive, VP of sales, a general manager of a sales organization, sales manager, chiropractor, naturopath. It doesn't matter what it is. Think about the people that you believe are most successful. And if I had a flip chart here, and if StreamYard had the ability to allow me to draw here, I'd go through with this and write it down. What I would like to do for you today is just get you thinking about what are the skills that those people have? What is it you like about them? Start listing those traits. List everything that you really appeals to you, that excites you, that amazes you. List all of those things. Are they enthusiastic? Are they people of integrity? Are they passionate about what they do? Do they know what they do? I mean, do they really understand it? Can they explain it to you in a language that is easy for you to understand it, because you didn't go to years and years of college or education to get the knowledge. You just want them to disseminate the information to you. And maybe think about where did they come from? Could be a country, town, anywhere. List all of those things. I think you'll be slightly amazed or significantly amazed as to what you find out when you write down what you're thinking about. So what I want to do, though, is now move on to the next slide that I have here for us today. Assuming there we go. So this is what we call the Carnegie Triangle. And the Carnegie Triangle is allegedly based on a study done by the Carnegie Foundation. They wanted to know what were the top 3 things that made people successful. And they had this study that they commissioned. Good morning, Eric. Good to see you, buddy. So they had this study that they wanted to commission. They wanted to find out what are the traits of highly successful people. So if you were to do this exercise in a live event where I had a flip chart, I could list all of them. I would make a list of all of these things, and then we would go through them. And I think you would be surprised at what we'd find out. So I'm going to do my best to be able to explain that here on this live stream to you. And you have any comments about what I'm talking about? Questions if you don't understand what I'm saying, or if you've got aha, that blinding flash of the obvious, a PFO, just let me know, and we can add that to the dialogue today. So in this triangle, one of the things we wanted to find out was what were the 3 characteristics that high achievers have. So I'll give you a couple of clues. So they would have skills, they would have knowledge, and there would be attitude. Now, in a live event, we would get through that list. We would come back to that list after we've gone through this triangle, and you'll understand why in a minute. So I'm going to ask you, for those that are here watching live, if you'd like to comment, what percentage of skills did the study identify was what high achievers have? Any guesses? It's okay, I'll give you the answers. What about knowledge? What percentage of high achievers, what percentage of this group of people, of high achievers, what percentage was dependent on their knowledge? Okay, what percentage? Oh, here we got a 4%. Thanks, Kellen, for popping in. 4% on what, Kellen? Could you add to that a little bit for me? That 4% skills, 4% knowledge, what are you speaking to? Now we got a 1%. You're not too far off. You're off a little bit, but not too far off. And I thank you for participating. Skills, okay, thank you for that. Okay, so if it's 1 to 4% on skills, so is it, to help me understand, is it 4% on skills and 1% on knowledge, or have I got the numbers mixed up? Skills, knowledge. Here, I'll let you in a little secret. Let's go to what percentage skills play in that role of a high achievers and knowledge. Combined, skills and knowledge totaled 15%. So 7.5 if you average. Thank you, Kellen. I really appreciate that. My mouse just died. Hang on, guys. Here we go. 85% was attitude. So one of the things, if you're in the leadership role and hiring people or managing people, leading people, coaching people, whatever it is your role is, you want to hire for attitude. And that's one of the things that I saw in a YouTube video earlier this morning. I was watching an old video of Apple when Steve Jobs was there the first time. And they had a bunch of the team, the engineers, software engineers, and hardware engineers talking about how they hired. And what they said was they would bring the candidates they thought might be good for the organization that could help the team grow. And they brought them into a room with a bunch of other Apple employees, leadership people, with one of the Mac products. And what they found out was that if people came in and said, well, that's a pretty good computer, they probably wouldn't hire them. But if somebody came in and said, wow, look at that thing. How the heck did you do that? Where did the ideas come from? How long did it take you to make it? What can we do with it? Those kind of people were given serious consideration to being added to the Apple team. And yes, Eric, you're stealing my thunder, but man, you're so brilliant. That's exactly right. I'm going to put this up there. That's exactly where I was going with this, but you saved me 1,000 words. You absolutely can teach skills and knowledge if they've got the attitude to be open to being coachable, teachable, and they want to learn. If they don't want to do any of that, you might want to reconsider them if they're a new hire. And if they're on your team and you can't shift their attitude, it might be time to free up their future and get them to go do something they really like. Because if we don't do what we really, really like, we ain't going to do very much. We're going to probably do as little as we can get away with as opposed to doing as much as we can, which takes me back to a book, which is I think it's 100 years old now. It's Think and Grow Rich. And in there, one of the success laws or success principles is to do more than what you're paid for. And do it because you want to, not because you have to. That reflects the attitude of the individuals. So attitude is more important than skills and knowledge. We can all learn things if we have the right mindset, that we're open-minded to it. So this is just one of the principles and concepts I wanted to share with everybody today in regards to what are the keys to or characteristics to success. So over the next few days, I'll be introducing a couple of other concepts that will support this starting point on this week's journey. Hey, Doug, what's Doug got to say? Now, you can see he's involved with the Little Giant ladder. By the way, I have one. I think every time Doug comes on, I let the world know that I have one and how it helped me with 2 particular properties. Do some things very safely and huge value and a very, very safe ladder. I've loaned it to family members as well. I think it's 20 years old. So he says, when I was hiring at Little Giant, attitude was always number 1 on my list. I could always teach people how to sell ladders, but it's impossible to teach good attitude. Work ethic was always a close second. Yeah. And I think work ethic is tied tightly to attitude. What a great way to end today's session. I'd like to thank Doug, Eric, and Kellen for popping in, making their comments known to us in this live stream. Much appreciated. Makes more value or brings more value to the people that watch this on the replay. So thanks for being here for that. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. I need Bruce. He's a mega miner. He's a brilliant guy in the video space, and he knows how to drive this particular platform really well. And brings me to another thing. Don't try to do everything on your own all of the time. Have a support team. I have a team that support me outside of this group on larger projects, but on these short videos that I do, these live streams on a daily basis, I tend to do it myself. So you're going to see some hiccups and some burps because of that. So I enjoy doing them. I hope you guys are getting great value out of this. If I can do something for you, if you have a question, you can reach out to me at coachphil.ca is the website. If you want to see blogs and information I've posted previously, and then to the left of that, hey, you should try this. I'm not a very good weatherman. There we go. Phil@coachphil.ca. That's where you can send me an email with your questions. If you have a topic or a question you would like to have answered or addressed, shoot me an email. Happy to address that. If I can't, we'll get somebody in. Like if you wanted to know the story behind the Little Giant ladder, maybe I can get Doug Wing to come in and talk about that one session. I haven't asked him. I'm just saying. If you want to know about the story of that success, it's a great ladder. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Coach Phil. It's been a pleasure. I look forward to talking to you tomorrow.